Okay, so the next part is your multiple exposure. And to start off, you need to take your pictures, and you're going to have several pictures within your screen into Photoshop. So drag everything into Photoshop so they're all lined up. You want to work with the one that's the furthest back. So this is the furthest back, and this is going to be my base. Everything I put is going to go in here. So I'm going to take my move tool. I'm going to take my next picture. This one seems to be the next closest. So I'm going to drag that in. And if you're working with the older version, if it lines up perfectly, it'll kind of light up pink. You'll see. If you're not working with the older version, you just have to, and you're going to have to do this anyway, lower your opacity so that you can see the image. Now, if it's perfectly lined up, if you do, you can tell if you didn't move, if the image looks seamless, but right here I can tell something moved. It's okay just for our practice version, so I will still use this, but for you guys, you want to make sure you do not move at all. I'm going to show you two different ways to do this. The first way is with the eraser, and this is the way I prefer. The reason why I prefer it is because it actually is much more seamless than the other way, and I can actually tell if you guys are floating in the way you do it, because sometimes it just doesn't look right. So remember, I'm starting with the Brandon all the way in the back, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and just erase him. What I'm doing is I'm erasing the background in the image of him sitting that is covering. So all I have to do is bring my opacity up, make sure there's nothing covering there, and you can really see, especially if I zoom in, the fact that this must have moved. If it's not too bad, what you could do is you could take it and blend it in. You won't really notice that. I will, but it's just because I know the picture, and I do know that they moved, so it's not that big of a deal for me. But for yours, I would make sure you redo it. I could actually take my eraser here and kind of just erase this part so it actually blends in a little bit better here. And then I'll start with my next image. Okay. My next image I'm going to bring in as well. I'm going to take it, drag it in, and then I'm going to lower my opacity again. And for this one, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do a different method. And this is another method that you could do, but I always tell kids, especially if you're going outside, you need to make sure that you're getting your entire shadow and your background. So I'm going to take my quick select tool, and I'm actually going to select Brandon. I want to make sure I get all of him. I want to get any part of the shadow that I might need. And then for my own sanity here, I know that there's another Brandon back here, so I am actually going to make sure I'm nice and tight onto him over here. And then I'm going to go to select, inverse, and hit delete. And there he is. Again, you can really tell that he moved. A way to blend this in a little bit so it doesn't look like it as much is you can actually merge your layers. So I'm going to hit Command E, and I'm going to merge those two layers and come in here with my patch tool and just blend this in. See? So there's two different ways you could do it. You could do it with the eraser method, or you could do it the quick select method. Either way works, but you really do need to make sure it doesn't look like you're floating, which can happen sometimes with your quick select method. It's a really easy project, and kids really tend to have a lot of fun with it, so feel free to play around. Remember to save it as a JPEG and put it in your Dropbox when finished. Have a good night.